Hey, Farrah.
Have a kiss. What's up, guys?
Hey,
it's
guys.
Farrah and it's JD, and today this is a very personal video for us. We're going to start a mini series here on Farrah Boulevard talking about our TTC journey. I do believe it's going to wind up being between a 10 to 12 video series. And we're just gonna kind of go through the journey that we personally had as a young married couple trying to conceive. If you didn't know what TTC stood for, it does stand for trying to conceive. In this video, we're gonna hit a few subjects that are very important to us to kind of give you insight on our journey, and maybe you guys can relate to it. We'd love to hear feedback from you guys, and we'd love to hear your trying to conceive journey if you have one. If not, what you think about our journey and what maybe advice that you could give us. So if you think we're ready, let's just jump into this video.
Yeah, I think we're ready.
So first, we're going to talk about trying to conceive then versus now. So we're going to kind of take a step back and go back in time for us and talk about a few things, and we'll also talk about like what we're doing now and what's going on now. The first time, timing was just to me perfect. Like, it happened very quickly. It took us probably less than 30 days to conceive our youngest son together.
Which is Peyton.
Yes. Also known as Wild Card or Little Gamer or Pay or a whole bunch of different other things. Anyways, timing. So for us at this point, like, we were literally like day one married, and I guess the nicest way to say it is we were probably little rabbits. And the idea we had more free time.
Well, first day was actually Christmas.
True. So what, a week before we got married? Or 2 weeks before we got married?
Yeah.
Somewhere up in there. But so we started trying, but I got my cycle a few days before our wedding. And so we knew that didn't work from the Christmas time frame. But then we were pregnant, and like timing shows that we got pregnant like the week of conception put our wedding night like right in the middle. So we're gonna go ahead and say that it happened on our wedding night because we were so busy trying to plan our wedding that we forgot to even try for a few days.
Then it just sounds romantic, so.
I suppose. So yeah, timing I think was a big thing that we paid attention to as far as we were trying to track ovulation for us. We were trying to make sure that we made enough time every day to try to increase our chances. And at the time we were also trying for a girl, but we were blessed with a little boy instead. And for the methods that we were trying the shuttles method, I do believe it's called, and it talks about how timing is so important. And so we were trying to pay attention to that, but for some reason it just wasn't in the cards for us to have it happen that way, and I'm happy that it worked out the way it did.
Same here.
Things we were trying back then, like I just mentioned, we were trying the shuttles method, so we were trying different positions that would increase our odds supposedly of having a girl, so that'd be like the shallow penetration.
You use that word.
Oh my goodness. And another big one was like for the female to basically not finish or orgasm because of the fact that
the acid
it would make
being released.
Correct. And actually, so from what research I did, you want a more acidic environment to increase your chances for a girl, and a more alkaline. I might have that mixed up. It's one of the, but we were focusing on that. And so basically it talks about how those different things can affect supposedly how likely you are to conceive a boy and a girl. And so if you are trying to conceive, a lot of people are trying to conceive and they're also trying to gender sway, and we were very much so okay with the idea of gender swaying, even though we understand a lot of people are not okay with the idea of trying to, I guess, match cards with God. I don't know, how do you feel about gender swaying?
I mean, I was perfectly fine with it. We were actually in the process of looking into gender selection where you can actually put, you know, in a petri dish, they spin it around, and then I can't remember what it was, but like some kind of fall to the wayside, then you select those instead of the ones in the middle. And so we were actually looking at that, but it was thousands of dollars, and then that's
it wasn't here in our area. I think it was like 10 grand. And so like the financial part of it, I wasn't concerned about the financial part of it because I am a little princess in a lot of ways. And so if I know that I want it, you'll get it for me. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So the money part of it, I wasn't necessarily, like I said, I wasn't concerned about, and I felt like it was just going to be us investing in our future, but I don't know, it just wasn't in the card for us to do it that way. It wasn't available in our area, so we just tried to do our research on trying to gender sway the best way we could. Didn't work, so hey, it is what it is. Food habits last time, or health habits.
Well, health habits, I guess back then I don't even really remember what I did. Basically, I just kind of went with the flow. I wasn't really trying to do a whole lot here and there. However, this go around I have done a little bit more research, and your body composition actually plays a role in how healthy your sperm is. And also, I'm not really sure if it plays a role in like your DNA and how well they, you know, like
putting your
genetics
best
foot forward, basically to say. I mean, I'm not 100% sure how well that works, but so body composition, when you're leaner and you have more muscle on your frame, it actually helps for healthier sperm. And so what I've been doing is what I always wanted to do all along because I love fitness, but I've been eating more, a lot more veggies, not as much carbs and fat. You know, protein I've tried to keep up there. It hasn't been what I want. But basically what I've been trying to do is put on a little bit more muscle, but really focus on cutting down on my body fat, which has been good, you know, just for health.
Sorry, I left lipstick on you.
That's okay. But just health overall. But then also, just like we said, you know, putting your best foot forward. And so that's, you know, overall it's just kind of had a lot more benefits than just trying to, you know, have healthier sperm to, you know, lead away from miscarriages and stuff like that. And also another big one that I didn't know, I just thought was for women, was folic acid is important. Actually like a pretty significant percentage of miscarriages early on are caused by
lack of
folic acid within like the sperm and the semen, which was actually pretty surprised. And so folic acid you either get from greeny leaves, or just taking women's vitamins has a lot of folic acid also.
Yeah, I agree. So I didn't know a lot of that stuff either until he was recently, we were sitting down and kind of like discussing topics that we could talk about, and that was one thing that he did research on and discovered. As far as me, I hate taking medicine, I hate taking pills, I hate doing a whole lot of other stuff.
Which I don't know at all.
A lot of stuff like that. So like I was not one to like pre-prep my body as far as like taking vitamins, and I'm always like anemic, and I've always had like a very low iron count, and they always tried to like force me to take so much iron, and I don't know, I just don't take it in. So that's something I think I definitely should work on, but something I wasn't trying last time. I guess at that time I was also in way better shape, like I had a waist limiter frame back then. I don't know, I didn't have like a full-fledged bakery at the time, so I didn't indulge in as much sweets as I do now. So I think that maybe was something that maybe played a part, and I think maybe age as well, like just being younger and more vibrant, maybe helped out. Like I said, less stress was something that, at least during the time of trying to conceive the first time, was a significant difference right away. Yeah.
Part of it might have been because you're working at the hotel, and so with that you're always on your feet too.
So those are kind of like the things that I think we pretty much like remember trying. And food habits, like we kind of mentioned, I used to eat healthier, you ate healthier at that time. Actually, you know what? I don't even know if we necessarily ate healthier, and it might have been that we just kind of ate less, so we had less chance to put bad things into our body because we were working so much.
True.
Like, during the time of us conceiving our son, there were days where we would see each other for 30 minutes a day because like our work schedules were just so opposite of each other, and it didn't leave time for very much of anything. Eating was probably the last thing on our mind.
Which, looking back on it, was probably a bigger reason why you were so regimented with us trying to just boom, 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 because we had a limited amount of time. So
that's true.
Yeah. So I mean, even though it was kind of like strict in a way, it did make sense looking back on it.
The next thing I think we want to discuss in this video is what was going on medically, I guess, for me at the time of trying to conceive my son. At the time, I didn't realize that either I had fibromyalgia or either I have lupus, and we're still in the middle of trying to test to figure out what all I have going on. But that didn't seem to really affect us, but I definitely felt like, okay, I didn't feel right and something could definitely be wrong, and this might make it harder for us to conceive
the biggest
at that time.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the biggest thing was maybe it just made you so tired because your body was having such a hard time with it.
Exactly, I was out of energy. But the other thing that was going on is we had just came off of birth control. We tried...
Well, you had, yeah.
Yeah. I had the Mirena for about 3 or 4 years, and I was just so afraid that it was just going to like migrate or just mess with my cycle and I wasn't going to be able to conceive properly like I wanted to. More in depth of like why the form of birth control that I was on made me kind of nervous about conceiving or worried me about conceiving is because I did research. And it turns out that like Mirena can sometimes drastically affect people's chances of conceiving after they have the Mirena taken out. Sometimes it takes about 3 months to work because it's, you know, it's a long-term birth control, so you never know like how that's gonna affect. For me personally, when I was on Mirena, like I would maybe have a cycle, I don't know, twice a year, if even that. So like knowing that I need to actually figure out a regular schedule or a regular cycle probably didn't help as far as timing, because like I said, I had been on it for so long and I was just kind of guesstimating based off of like my previous births and stuff like that, when I would ovulate and how long my cycle was and stuff like that. So if you are coming off of a form of birth control that's kind of a long-term thing, it might be a good idea. Can you go play with your brothers? So that was our that was our TTC Journey then, and now we'll go into details about the now. So we can go through these a little bit quicker because, well, we don't have to remember them off the top of our head.
True.
Timing now. At first, when we started trying to conceive this time around, I was very much so all about like, what does the Chinese gender calendar say? And I'm like, okay, if it doesn't say that like I'm supposed to have a girl at this age and this month and this time, like I was not really, I don't know, I didn't really focus on trying. Versus like now with timing, I don't know, like I feel like it was so stressful, and after having, which we'll go more into detail about this, after having like a chemical pregnancy and an ectopic pregnancy, I don't know, I feel like I don't want to stress myself out about thinking about it, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It happens when it's supposed to. So timing to me is still important. So of course, like knowing about like ovulation and stuff, but everything else, like I don't know. I'm not really concerned about the time. Like I know my cycle, so I guess I know when to do so. So maybe it's timing that I'm not focusing on figuring it out. I kind of now know I have something established, and it's just, it happens whenever it does. What about timing for you?
Well, I guess it's kind of surprising just because I thought you were still on the timing bandwagon. I guess a lot of the timing stuff, she's actually been the one to research that, so I just kind of let her take the lead on that, because I guess I haven't known as much about her cycle and when it's easier to conceive a girl compared to a boy, which obviously we're still trying to conceive a girl this time.
Team girl.
Yeah, so I guess timing wise, I've just basically just left it up to her.
Well, I guess you just left it up to. It is what it is.
I guess.
Things that we're trying now. I'm still not taking multivitamins like I should be, which is really bad. And so I guess maybe like they're in our cabinet, so I could start taking them. But again, I hate taking pills. I try to do the bare minimum when it comes to medicine. I have tried to watch what I eat as far as foods that I have now discovered can be detrimental from the time they enter your body, because basically whatever you consume when you're trying to conceive and throughout your whole entire pregnancy is definitely something that gets absorbed. And if something is toxic to you, just like if you were a smoker and you conceived, how drastic effects that could have on the baby. So the same thing with whatever you put in your body as far as eating. On my end, I watch what I do. As far as like my restrictions for him, it's like, yeah, the alcohol is a no.
That's why I can't wait till we do conceive.
And then I'll make you stick it out for 9 months with me. Sorry.
Won't happen.
Are there any other foods that you're trying? Well, I guess we're trying to eat a lot more vegetables and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the vegetables are kind of already covered, like the leafy greens. I've been having a lot of broccoli. I've been doing some multivitamins. Protein, like I said, is been pretty much the same. One thing I have been focusing on, and I think both of us have been doing a pretty good job, is eating healthier fats. So I've been having more nuts, peanuts, and either not salted or lightly salted. Just so we don't have too much sodium. But also another one that we've been having she just found a really awesome recipe that she just randomly made up, like usual.
I didn't find it, I created it.
Okay, well, well, that's why I said that you made it up. She made this almost guacamole dip, basically just out of thin air. And yeah, so lately we've been having some avocados, and she's been cooking avocados
different ways.
Yep. The first one she did was with eggs, and having it together is actually pretty delicious. And now with the guacamole dip, she puts a few seasonings and some olive oil and mashes it up, and we eat it with some saltine chips, and it's delicious. Whole
grain, by the way, which I don't like whole grain stuff, but again, because we are trying to conceive, I have been trying to take a more healthy alternative. So that's kind of like things we are trying.
No.
Yes. And that also kind of ties into like the food habits too. I guess eating, like I said, healthier foods. Even though this time around I don't know how it would affect, but I have this huge craving for spicy noodles. Like I will eat like a certain type of brand of spicy noodles every day.
You will.
And I think it's so weird that like that craving started when I had the chemical pregnancy, and it's still like something I definitely still like, I'm on board for. But the avocado and the different vegetables is something that I'm glad that we reach for now, because hopefully like it will instill better habits in a baby if we conceive one, and then also like in our children we have now.
Well, with the spicy food, spice speeds up your metabolism, so that's not a bad thing.
As far as food habits and like other health habits as well, this time that we're trying to conceive, I know it's very frowned upon, but I actually want to lose weight during this pregnancy to a certain extent. Like I want to, the first few months, lose weight. I naturally always lose about 20 pounds whenever I conceive. And I think maybe my metabolism just gets sped up to a point where it's beneficial to me as far as slimming down. But then during my pregnancy, when we conceive, is maintaining a healthier weight. And instead of being like, okay, I'm pregnant, I can eat whatever I want. Like, I don't want to do that this time around. And that's not a good thing to do. Like, women always are like, oh, I'm eating for two now, so they think that they can eat whatever they want. No, you're eating for one, like you're eating for yourself. And the amount of nutrition that you give to the baby, yes, it's a great amount, but the baby does not benefit from you eating salty, greasy potato chips. Like, it's not beneficial to them. So if you're gonna eat something, still try to grab a healthy alternative if you can.
So basically what you're saying is you gotta turn the eating for two the other way and say, well, I have to eat healthy because I'm feeding my baby off of this. Instead of just on, like you said, just taking as many calories because you're eating for two.
Exactly. But at the same time, if you are having like cravings, like for me, this last pregnancy, like I was craving dessert and cheesecake. I would cut the crust off of the cheesecake just to kind of make it.
Oh, so that's why you did that.
I don't like graham cracker crust for starters, but like I also was thinking like, okay, there's tons. Being a baker, I know how much sugar goes into the crust. Like, I don't want, if I can cut some of the sugar content, then why not do so? The other thing I guess we slightly are trying is we're still trying to gender sway this time around. So again, still kind of focusing on like which positions to try, but I think we've also kind of thrown that out of the window.
I mean a little bit
here and there.
But I mean, we've also done it where we finish. It's not as deep too.
Okay, censored. Sorry.
Well, you used the big P word, so.
Okay. So that's what we've done compared to then and now. I hope that wasn't too all over the place, but the other thing that we'd like to kind of end this video with is talking about kind of what happened to us and why we're even on this TTC journey in the first place. It's because we actually have had 2 miscarriages, or I guess
one that was like medically confirmed.
So we had, well, both of them were confirmed with my HCG levels that I was definitely medically, of course, pregnant both times.
True, yeah.
And we have the health records and bills to accompany
Unfortunately.
that. But the first time that we conceived back in February?
When was that?
January or February timeframe of 2018 of this year, we experienced an ectopic pregnancy that made it through to 11 weeks. And we got very much so attached to the idea of having the baby, even though it wasn't planned. I got tons of side eye from tons of friends and family thinking like, okay, like why would you go and have another baby? Like you just had one, and a whole bunch of other things. But at first I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't really all that excited because we had other things personally going on between us. That I felt like, okay, this is gonna add more stress onto our situation. This is not the right timing. But then I very much so got attached to it because like, I felt like, okay, if this is a girl, this is part of me getting like maybe a form of my mother back, because unfortunately my mother passed away in October of last year. So I definitely wanted a girl. And I was definitely feeling like, okay, life is life and I'm blessed to have any form of life given to me at the same time. And so the ectopic pregnancy was, of course, needed to be ended medically. And so instead of the surgery route, I chose to take the chemo shot to end the pregnancy. That was hell. Oh my God, like it knocked me flat. Yeah, it knocked me flat on my butt. It was bad. I was in so much pain, like it was just excruciating. Not alone just like the pain of just going through an ectopic pregnancy, but like the chemical like reaction to having that chemo shot and like ending the pregnancy just was not anything I'd wish on my worst enemy. Which really makes you look at cancer survivors like, yeah, you are a survivor just through making through chemo. It definitely, and I feel like, okay, my little bit of chemo, like the tiny amount that I had is nothing, so I can't imagine like what it must feel like to go through that, and I pray to God that I never have to. And then, so another thing that he brought up before is that you have to listen to your body, because the doctors were definitely telling me like, oh no, you're fine, just wait until your 12th appointment, blah blah blah, get to see the heartbeat, we'll do all that other stuff. And I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna make it to that point. Like I was in so much pain that like I was like, do you think that we should go into the doctor? What should we do? We called the nurses line and everything else, and they told us like, wait, And
Yeah.
I listened to my body, I listened to him, and we decided to go. And that's when we found out that it was an ectopic pregnancy and that it needed to be ended like immediately before harm or more harm was to happen. And then to finally, like, 4 months ago now, having a chemical pregnancy or a miscarriage. I don't really know exactly how to characterize it or categorize it, so we'll just call it a chemical pregnancy because that's what my doctor called it. Basically, if we weren't trying to conceive, we would have never probably even realized that we had actually been pregnant.
Yeah.
Because my cycle started like the day it was supposed to, or the day after, or something like that. So, I know for me, having gone through this TTC journey for over the last 9 months has been something like emotional for me. It's definitely made me feel afraid to share the news of conceiving, because the 2 times that I was able to actually surprise you with a pregnancy announcement, both of those pregnancies wind up not succeeding.
The surprises were well worth it. She did a great job.
Yeah. So hopefully, you know, that will be one of the videos that you'll see during our TTC journey on this channel eventually, once we get to that point. I definitely want to say that when you are trying to conceive, do not be afraid to speak up. There are tons of people that are going through the same thing you're going through. I never thought I'd be 24 with 3 children and having a hard time trying to conceive, you know, trying to conceive another baby. Like, and I'm not going to go into the point of being like, okay, it's your fault, it's my fault. Like, it's just life, and it happens. It's so common, and people don't talk about it, and I wish they would. So I'm here for you if you want to express your feelings about having, you know, a tough or easy or whatever, just your opinions on a TTC journey. I'm glad I have my husband's support through all of it, because it has been tough emotionally for me.
Yeah, and that's why I so want her to tell me, you know, or, you know, reveal it to me in a timely manner, just because I want to know what's going on, just so I can be there for her, which she kind of... I
have a different opinion. I personally do not want to tell him until I have that sonogram in my hand. I'm like, look, this is your baby. I heard the heartbeat, I heard everything. Of course, I'll record everything. I'll vlog if I can.
But life is just so much different.
And I get his opinion. I just don't want to take him through that. It's kind of me wanting to protect you in a sense of...
When
I don't want you to hurt.
Yeah, which I want it to be the other way around, so I can help you through it. Whatever you have to go through. And
we've definitely decided that, like, you know, we're gonna wait to tell everyone. Even though we're going to release these videos, I don't know when it's going to happen, so it's not like if you don't see a video for a while with this series that we have conceived and we're just waiting to tell people. It's more so like we don't know exactly. There's only so much we can do until that point. So I'm here for you. I love everyone that supports me in our new channels and that encourage us to do these videos, because it's that support that makes trying to conceive an easier journey than it has been in the past when we were keeping everything to ourselves. We will definitely hold off on telling our children, because we don't want them to go through the experience of that happening, because literally, like, for example, our middle child knew that we were pregnant just because, like, I don't know, I feel like he just sensed it, and we probably did talk about it. And
he pays attention. Even when he's on the phone or playing a video game, he's still listening.
And so, like, after him, like, he's dealt with a lot of death in the last year that I don't want him to have to feel like, oh my god, everything dies and goes to heaven to be with Nana or whatever else. So hopefully we will succeed at conceiving our rainbow baby. And
wait, what's a rainbow baby?
Oh, okay. So a rainbow baby is a baby that you conceive after the storm. So after every storm, there's a rainbow, basically.
That makes
and
sense.
So without the rain, you can't have a rainbow. So we wouldn't appreciate life as much as we do. Well, maybe we wouldn't appreciate life as much as we will and we are, since we've gone through that. So A rainbow baby is the baby you conceive after a series of events, such as like a miscarriage or a stillbirth or things like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, yeah, that was our trying to conceive then versus now part 1 of our TTC journey. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or there's any things you want us to elaborate on,
keep it to yourselves. I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh. I'm Farrah Boulevard, or I'm Farrah of Farrah Boulevard, or how, I don't know how that goes. Whatever. I'm Farrah, that's JD, and it was great talking and sharing our story with you, and we look forward to filming the next video for you guys. Bye!
All right, see you on the next one.